Hello everyone and welcome to this new video, and in this video I'm going to be discussing the 5 things that I would change about Harbinger, because while it is a very decent class and it's performing quite well in PvP and World versus World at the moment, there are still quite some things that can be changed about it to make it feel and play better. The first thing that I would change about the class is the grandmaster skills, because at the moment the only one that's being used is the deathly haste skill, which applies quickness and fury, but the cascading corruption and approaching doom grandmaster traits are not being used at all. That is mostly because the radius of these two skills are very underwhelming, and usually you're not going to be in a 180 range while playing Harbinger because you are quite squishy, so you want to keep some distance between you and the target. And while approaching doom might look good on paper, I mean 3-second quickness is quite nice, but again it's not going to hit a lot because you're not going to be in that 180 range. For example, the power grandmaster skill only does around 400 damage, which with 3000 power only deals, yeah, it did 400 damage, and it crits for 1000 damage. So that is extremely underwhelming. So I would want to see this be something preferably a bit more creative, and that doesn't have to do with the Harbinger Shroud. My suggestion would be to either increase the radius of these skills, change them altogether, make them do more damage, or make them do something else other than apply damage and give conditions, because I think there's a lot possible here, but ArenaNet just hasn't found it. The second thing that I would change about Harbinger is the Blight management of the class. At the moment, Harbinger builds are almost forced to take potions in their builds, because potions are the only other way, next to being a Harbinger Shroud, to get and use Blight. If you do not take potions, the only way for you to get Blight is by staying in Harbinger for quite a long time, so it's a lot harder for you to fully use Devouring Cuts and Voracious Arc to their full effects, because these skills do more damage and apply torment when above a certain Blight threshold. So my suggestion would be to add some more Blight interaction and management in the traits. For example, adding traits that either give you Blight when you enter Shroud, or that make Blights have other effects on you other than reducing your base health pool. This would make the Blight mechanic a lot more dynamic and would really promote interplay between your utility skills, your Shroud skills, and the traits of the Harbinger. My third suggestion for the Harbinger class is a bit of a more broad one, but basically it comes down to nerfing Celestial Gear, because Celestial Gear at the moment gives Harbinger and other classes way too many stats, and while Power Harbinger and Condition Harbinger are fine on their own, when you spec this class with Celestial Gear, it raises it to another level, because it gives way too many stats and basically makes it a lot more overpowered than it should be. For example, when I'm playing Celestial Harbinger, it's any 1v1 is usually way too easy, and sometimes I don't even have to dodge because I know I can out-sustain and out-heal the class that I'm fighting, which is not using Celestial Gear. So my suggestion would be to either remove concentration and expertise from the stats that Celestial gives, or reduce all the stats by a little bit of, for example, 10 or 20%, so that, for example, these hand armor pieces would only give 16, 17, or 18 of each stat instead of 21. And in that way, nerf the amount of stats that you get when you apply or when you have Celestial Gear, because other classes like Celestial Soul Beast, Celestial Scrapper also are just extremely overpowered when spec'd with Celestial, while usually they are fine when they are not spec'd with Celestial Gear. Another thing I would change about Harbinger is one specific trait and one specific skill, which is the Path of Corruption traits in curses, because at the moment this makes it so that your number 2 skill on Harbinger, which is Dark Barrage, can corrupt 2 boons on 5 targets. And that means that you can technically corrupt 10 boons every 10 seconds, which means you can corrupt 2 boons on 5 players every 5 seconds. This is a bit too much in my opinion, and even in 1v1s, Path of Corruption is an amazing skill to have because your number 2 skill hits multiple times, so that this skill cannot be blinded because your first bolt will miss, but your second bolt will not miss and will then corrupt 2 boons. So Path of Corruption at the moment is simply too strong on Harbinger in my opinion, and there is not enough counterplay to it, so I would either change the skill to convert only 1 boon, or make it so that this trait only converts 2 boons on 1 target, because in the state that it is currently, I feel like it is way too strong. The last thing that I would change about the Harbinger is the damage that the potions do. Recently there was a nerf that nerfed the damage of Elixir of Ambition, but it is not just this skill which does a lot of damage. I've also seen my healing skill crit for up to 7,000 damage, and the same goes for Elixir of Risk, which I think I've seen crit for almost 8,000 to 9,000 damage. Obviously this was with 25 might and on a very squishy build, but at the same time I don't feel like it should be possible for such a small skill with such a tiny animation to be able to do that much damage. I am extremely happy that they nerfed the Elixir of Ambition, because the skill used to be able to do up to 13,000 damage with very little to no animation and with quite a quick cast time. But the same should go for the Elixir of Promise and the Elixir of Risk, because the point of these skills is that they should not be used to do damage, but more that they should be used to control your Blight, apply boons and apply conditions. But hitting 7,000 damage out of nowhere with very little cast time should not be possible in my opinion. Moreover, Harbinger is already good enough as it is, and it applies enough damage with the Harbinger Shroud and with skills either on the axe or on the pistol, so I don't feel like the damage on the potions is necessary for it to do that well, because at the moment Harbinger is a little bit overtuned in my opinion. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please let me know in the comments if you agree with these changes or if you have other thoughts. This video was mostly meant for PvP and World vs. World, of course, and were based on my experiences. But please let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great night.